Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 3rd, 2026. And Iniesta making an interesting announcement that maybe could lead him back to Barcelona. Also, the club have inquired about an Elche player. And finally, Barcelona have announced their newest signing during this winter transfer market. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Moo. We'll begin this video with the news that today Barcelona defeated Albacete 2-1 with goals of Lamine Yamal and Ronald Araujo in the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. With this victory, Barcelona have qualified to the semi-finals where they're currently awaiting who will be their next opponent. Now there are 3 more quarterfinals left to be played, including Valencia versus Athletic Club, Alaves versus Real Sociedad, and Real Betis versus Atletico de Madrid. Now, Friday, we will have the draw to see who will be Barcelona's opponent. And of course, I did do the post-match live analysis. If you want to hear my detailed thoughts and opinions about the match, make sure to check out the video on the channel. And also, let me know down below in the comment section, who do you want to be Barcelona's opponent in the semi-finals? I'm very curious to read your comments. Now, speaking of Albacete, we do have to talk about Andrés Iniesta. And of course, I say speaking of Albacete because that was Andrés Iniesta's first club. That's where he started out as a kid and then eventually moved to La Masia. But Andrés Iniesta, in his most recent interview, gave us some pretty cool update in regards to his career, stating the following: "My idea is to start coaching soon. Let's go. I am missing the pro license, which I am completing here in Asia. I finished my playing career here and came up with the idea of getting my coaching badges. I will finish the process in Dubai. Yalla habibi." Andrés Iniesta, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest players in the history of Barcelona, one of the greatest players in the history of football, period, has announced that, well, he's working on getting his coaching license because he wants to coach. And of course, my question to you is, would you like to see Andrés Iniesta as a coach in Barcelona in the future? Why not? Why not? I mean, it doesn't have to be first team. Maybe a team in the academy and then work his way up. But anyways, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Iniesta will do. Of course, we do have Cesc Fabregas, who's doing great with Como. Xavi Hernandez, not so great with Barca, but we'll see how his career continues since he does want to, continue coaching. But another Barcelona legend who announces that he wants to be a coach. Anyways, on to the next bit of news because we do have bad news in regards to Ter Stegen, who is on loan until the end of the season with Girona because he has suffered a thigh injury that will mean that the German goalkeeper will be out for the next 3 to 4 months. So pretty much the rest of the season. Maybe he can come out towards the end, but it's looking like the rest of the season that Ter Stegen will be out. Now, there were some reports saying that because of the injury, the loan deal will be completely broken and Ter Stegen will come back to Barca. There's no truth to that. Ter Stegen will continue to be a Girona player until the end of the season, so he will recover under the orders of Mitchell. But of course, this is bad news because the whole point of this loan was for Ter Stegen to get minutes so he can get exposure, regain competitive rhythm, and maybe start attracting some offers, or at least if he doesn't attract offers by the end of the season, so he can, have enough minutes to go and be the starter in the World Cup and then maybe attract some offers there. But instead, it's not looking like any of those two are going to happen because I don't see Ter Stegen making it to the World Cup as a starter for Germany since it looks like he will be missing the rest of the season. So really, really bad news for Barcelona, who of course needed Ter Stegen to shine at Girona and the World Cup because he does have, after all, one of the highest salaries on the squad. And well, it's hard to sell a player that hasn't played in a very long time and continues to get injured. Now, speaking of injured players on loan, we do have great news. We go from bad news to great news because Ansu Fati has recovered from that injury that he suffered in December. And in fact, he did play against Rennes in the Ligue 1. And he even scored a goal. He opened the scoreboard for Monaco where they won 4-0 over Rennes. This is, of course, great news because Ansu Fati had started the season pretty strong with his former coach counting on him and giving him a lot of minutes. But then under the new coach, he kind of lost his spot on the team. Then came the injury, but now he has recovered. He has scored a goal. He's playing again. So So hopefully he'll continue to gain more and more minutes, and hopefully he'll impress his new coach, and hopefully he'll convince Monaco to keep him, or if at least not Monaco, then maybe he can convince another club to make an offer for him, because of course at Barcelona, neither Flick nor the sporting department count on the La Masia player. Now on to the next bit of news, because it's been revealed that Barcelona inquired about an Elche player who's no other than Rodrigo Mendoza. Now, if you haven't heard of Rodrigo Mendoza, you might have seen him when he was playing against Barcelona over the weekend. But he's a 20-year-old center midfielder, a very promising midfielder in Spain. He has the same agent as Pedri. And in fact, in a previous interview, Pedri recommended that Barcelona sign him because he believed that, that Rodrigo Mendoza was a very promising and talented midfielder. Well, it seems that Barcelona have been left very impressed with the performance of Rodrigo Mendoza, so much so that they inquired about signing him from Elche. But given Elche's requirements or requests or how much money they wanted, and given that, the midfield is not really a priority for Barcelona, they said, thank you, but no thank you. Now, it does look like Rodrigo Mendoza will be headed to Atletico Madrid. I saw some news that looks like Atletico Madrid have finalized his signing, 16 million euros for 80% of the rights of the player. So, Barcelona inquired, but it looks like he's headed to the Spanish capital. Now, speaking of signings, Barcelona have made official their latest signing during this winter transfer market, who's no other than Patricio Pacifico, someone I talked about, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. He's a 19-year-old Uruguayan, was playing for Sporting de Uruguay. He's a left back, but can also play as a center back. He has officially arrived in Barcelona to play for Barça Athletic on loan until the end of the season. Now, Patricio Pacifico does have an option to buy that could be automatically triggered if one of these two conditions are met. The first one is if Patricio Pacifico plays at least 30 minutes of 10 matches with Barça Athletic, the option to buy gets automatically activated and he automatically becomes, Barcelona, his transfer becomes permanent. Or if he plays 45 minutes with the first team, then his option to buy also it gets triggered automatically. And if you're wondering how much that option to buy is worth, well, it's 3 million euros for 80% of the rights of the player, which could go up to 3.8 million euros, depending on whether he also meets some of the variables stipulated in the contract. So Patricio Pacifico, ladies and gentlemen, joins the other two signings for Barça Athletic, including Hamza Abdelkarim, the Egyptian center forward, the most promising player to come out of Egypt since Mo Salah, and also Jubensly Onstein, a Dutch defensive prodigy. All three of them have joined Barça Athletic, and of course, Barcelona will finalize the signing of Ruud Nijstad and AJ Tavares, but those two will be joining during the summer transfer market. But the signings will be completed pretty soon. Anyways, that is all the news for this video, except I forgot. I want to finalize the video with one more news. It's not really directly related to Barcelona, but I guess it could be considered since Barcelona did consider him as a possible signing for the summer. But it's no other than, of course, Nico Schlotterbeck. Again, someone Barcelona considered signing for the center back position. But it looks like Real Madrid are making a big push for him. And he could end up in the Spanish capital. Of course, Schlotterbeck was considered heavily, but then Barcelona decided to rule him out because they didn't believe he fit the profile of what Flick was looking for. Anyways, now I'm done. I almost forgot about this, but now I'm done. I did post another video a few moments ago. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. I will be doing a podcast tomorrow, so I'll see you guys in the podcast after not doing it for, I think it was 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys there. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.